You were 9 the first time you saw it. Not in an arena, not even on cable. Just a scratched up DVD your cousin left behind on the living room table. The case said UFC 47, and on the cover was a bald dude with a 1,000-yard stare. You had no clue who Chuck Liddell was. You didn't know what jiu-jitsu meant. But you watched two men lock themselves in a cage and leave different from the way they came in. There were no helmets, no teammates to pass the ball to. Just two people, face to face, with nowhere to run. It didn't matter that you didn't understand the rules. You understood this. It was real. That night, you took your socks and turned them into gloves. Wrapped your fists in masking tape from the junk drawer. Stood in the bathroom, shirt off, practicing your stance like you were about to walk out to the octagon. Your mum laughed, said it was a phase, said you'd grow out of it, but something clicked, something raw, something in your bones. You didn't want fame, you didn't want money, you wanted war. Middle school was brutal. You weren't tall, you weren't fast, you weren't cool. You were the kid who got picked last for dodgeball, the one who taped up his wrists with old socks and said he was training. The other kids had posters of rappers or quarterbacks. You had Anderson Silva and Matt Hughes on your wall. You printed out moves from Sherdog forums and tried them on your younger brother until he cried. You didn't fit in, but you didn't care. You weren't trying to fit in. You were trying to become something else. Then came high school. You weren't the homecoming king. You weren't the kid breaking track records. But you were the first to show up at the gym and the last to leave. Friday nights, your friends hit parties. You hit pads. You missed birthdays, skipped prom, said no to pizza because you were cutting weight. You were the weirdo doing sprawls in the hallway. You were the guy showing up with bruises and cauliflower ear. But you had a mission. You weren't chasing trophies. You were chasing toughness. That unshakable, invisible armor that fighters wear. The kind life couldn't break through. Your parents didn't get it. Your girlfriend didn't. But you did. Because every time you stepped on the mat, everything else disappeared. The noise, the stress, the world. Then came your first real fight. Nothing fancy, just a local gym. The floor was taped down, lights flickered, the crowd smelled like beer. The opponent looked like he hadn't blinked in 10 minutes. You wrapped your hands yourself. The gloves were stiff and cracked. And when the bell rang, you didn't hesitate. You swung, slipped, brawled, and somehow you won. Split decision, fat lip, bloody nose, but that smile, real, wide. It felt like gold. Then came the grind. Fighting in old fairgrounds, hockey arenas, back rooms of bowling alleys and busted up rec centres. Sometimes the crowd was just a few cousins and a couple drunks yelling your name wrong. You drove beat-up cars across states, sweated out pounds in trash bags, slept on mats, ate tuna straight from the can. You fought for $100 and a handshake. No camera crews, no locker room speeches, just grit. Just a voice in your head that whispered, keep going. You messaged every promoter you could find, sent out grainy training clips, begged for undercard fights on shows nobody watched. You trained in garages, hit pads on cracked pavement, used water jugs for dumbbells. You duct-taped your gear because buying new gloves meant skipping meals. And then finally, someone said yes, a late-night call, last-minute replacement. Guy had £10 on you. Didn't matter. You showed up and you won. People noticed. Your gym started posting you. You got a few DMs. One of your old idols messaged, solid fight. You screenshotted it, reread it 10 times, thought, this is it. I'm one finish away. But that call never came. No contract, no offer, just radio silence. So you laced him up again. And again. More cuts, more tape, more ice baths, more debt. You were running on fumes. Bank account empty, body wrecked, and a mind too tired to dream. You took jobs you hated, bounced at bars, stocked shelves overnight, trained in the morning, worked at night, slept in the car between. Your girl asked, "How long are you going to do this?" You said, "Just one more." But you weren't chasing belts anymore. You were chasing meaning. Because if this grind didn't matter, then what the hell were you doing? Then came the injuries. Torn rotator cuff, cracked rib, fingers that didn't close right, a back that barked every time you bent over. You stopped icing, just wrapped it up and lied about how you felt. Because if you said you were hurt, you were off the card. And when you're off the card, you're forgotten. You trained through migraines, sparred with one eye swollen shut, faked your blood pressure just to pass physicals. You told yourself, pain is proof. One day, your phone rings. It's not Dana White, but it's a name. A streamed card, B-level promotion. You're the underdog, a warm-up act. It didn't matter. You drove 3 states over, slept in your car, ate boiled eggs from a gas station, had your buddy hold pads in the parking lot. Then you walked out, quiet, calm, hungry, and left with a knockout. The clip went viral. Your phone blew up. People called you a savage. The coaches said, "Let's talk." For a minute, it felt real. But then, nothing. No follow-up. No contract. Just a like, then silence. Time rolled on. You kept showing up, but it got harder. Guys you used to beat were now verified. Doing podcasts, getting flown out, sponsorships, private jets. You were teaching cardio kickboxing to moms who didn't know you once choked out a ranked guy in an amateur brawl. You watched influencers with trash technique land brand deals. You told yourself, "I'm the real one." But some nights, it hit you. Not like a punch, like a slow sting, the kind that creeps in. You saw guys with zero grit walk into 6-figure deals. All flash, no substance. Just good at yelling into cameras. Meanwhile, you're splitting protein tubs with your roommate. Your body falling apart. Your neck feels like it's rusted shut. Your wrists throb when you tie your shoes. Your knees, they've become question marks with every step. You stretched like it was your job. You popped Advil like candy. You puked in the locker room, washed your face, and walked back out. Because this wasn't just a career, it was your identity. And if you weren't this, then what? Then the losses came. Bad calls, tough breaks, judges who didn't see what you saw. You told yourself it was politics, popularity, algorithms. But in your gut, you started to wonder if maybe, just maybe, you weren't enough. Your mum stopped asking. Your girl stopped hoping. Friends stopped texting. You missed holidays, funerals, moments. All for what? A highlight reel no one shared. One night, you're in the car, hands taped, sweat drenched, eyes blank, staring at the steering wheel like it owes you answers. Should you stop, get a job, sell insurance, teach classes? Then you remember that 9-year-old kid, the one with sock gloves, fighting shadows. And for some reason, you still believe. One more fight, one more war. Because walking away, that's the fight you're not sure you can win. That's why it sucks to be a UFC fighter. Not because of the pain, not because of the sacrifice, but because no matter how many times it beats you down, you still love it. And deep down, you're scared it'll never love you back.